want to talk about a very overlooked yet a very important part of, transformation, healing, becoming whole, and being able to, achieve your goals. And if you are desiring, to see growth, see transformation in 2026, it's very important that you forgive. For some people, actually, who have found themselves going around in cycles, unforgiveness actually may be the thing that is blocking you from getting to your next level. And releasing and choosing forgiveness could be the very key that enables you to step into the healing, the breakthrough, the wholeness that you desire, and actually also, achieve goals. Because obviously, it's more than just achieving goals. This whole thing is about becoming healed, healthy women. And being able to forgive those who have wronged you and truly release them from your heart is a major key. It's so important that you forgive because forgiveness actually frees you. Releasing forgiveness towards a person or a situation doesn't trivialize what happened to you. It doesn't mean that it's okay what happened to you. And forgiveness is not necessarily, saying that what the person did is okay. Rather, forgiveness is freeing you from the emotional weight and baggage and toxicness of that situation. Forgiveness is setting you free from every connection to whatever happened or the person that wronged you. Forgiveness actually benefits you more than the person that you are struggling to forgive. I don't know if you've heard this saying before, but a lot of the times people liken unforgiveness to, like, how do I say this without TikTok, um, flagging this? Yeah, they liken unforgiveness to an individual drinking chemicals but expecting another person to be unalived in the process. It doesn't work. When you refuse to forgive someone or you choose to brew an offense, you are actually the one that pays more. The truth of the matter is that where you refuse to release forgiveness, you are actually causing your body to stay in a fight or flight response, and it triggers stress hormones to continually be released. Your cortisol levels are raised, and there are many people who actually are dealing with health issues as a result of, high cortisol, if I'm saying it right, levels, sometimes rooted in unforgiveness and unprocessed trauma, which I'll talk about another time, but unforgiveness. And so you are hurting yourself and affecting yourself through refusing to release forgiveness. Like, at the end of the day, if you choose to steward in unforgiveness, you are hurting yourself, damaging yourself, hindering yourself, blocking yourself while the other person is just living their life. And in the case where they may actually be like remorseful and they're actually begging you for your forgiveness, you choosing to withhold forgiveness towards them is still blocking you and hindering you and affecting you mentally, emotionally, physically, and sometimes even financially. Because if you truly want to be able to achieve your goals and be empowered and whole, you need to become that person to be able to get to it. And you hinder that transformation when you refuse to forgive. Once again, I just want to say that choosing and releasing forgiveness towards a person does not trivialize the situation of whatever happened to you, but it sets you free from the emotional baggage. And I also just wanted to call out, shutting down emotions and being like apathetic. That doesn't help either. Harboring unforgiveness or shutting down emotions and just being like, I don't care, isn't good, because if you do not process it, it is there in your subconscious, affecting your mindset and your perception and choices, hindering you from being able to truly be transformed and make consistent progress and towards where you want to go in terms of life, in terms of how you want to be as a woman, and even getting your goals. So the only way to be free is to process through it, address it, and release it. So you're hearing this and you're like, okay, yeah, okay, how do I forgive? What do I need to do? Like, to be honest, we always hear the word, oh, you need to forgive, but how do we actually go through the process of forgiving? And I wanted to say the first thing that you will need to do is to make the decision to forgive. It all begins with a choice. Yes, feelings are amazing and feelings are good and helpful, but ultimately it begins with a choice. We can't always be led by our feelings because our feelings can hinder us from doing things that we need to do or could lead us on a path that is just silly. As you choose, your feelings will align. Your feelings will eventually align. The second thing that you would do once you have made that initial decision that you are going to forgive is to identify the grievance. what happened? What did the person do to you? What happened? What was the situation? And it's very, in this time, it's good to be able to have someone that you can process through. You don't have to process this with a person. You can literally journal this by yourself when you have time. But depending on the severity of what has happened, or the level of trauma it has caused you, the level of offense, or like bitterness that you may have, it can be helpful to have someone that can help you process through this. It could be a therapist, or someone that is a safe space, someone who has the emotional maturity and capacity to help you process and this. And I just wanted to say, like, your friends are amazing, but your friends may not always be the best people to help you process certain things. And it's not that they're bad people, but some people just don't necessarily have the capacity, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, get someone who has, if you do need someone that has the emotional and mental capacity and maturity to help you get through this. In this time, you would identify what happened, what did the person do, what happened to you. You would basically talk it out, recount it, what actually happened, what did they do. And once you've done this, you would then identify how it affected you and how it made you feel. In this time, you would allow yourself to experience these feelings. In any case, you may have been shutting it down before. Now is the time to not shut it down, but to allow yourself to feel these feelings and basically grieve as you need to, cry as you need to, and obviously be in a safe space and with a safe person if you need a person as you do this. But allow yourself to feel these emotions, feel it out, grieve as you need to. And also, where I say identify how it affected you, it's good to actually, identify how it affected you, to see, like, and be able to identify coping mechanisms or patterns or mindsets that whatever the situation or the offense that occurred had caused in you. So you're able to see and like see the correlations, and now kind of become self-aware of how that situation actually affected you. And it just makes you more mindful and more aware. As you identify how it made you feel and how it affected you, then you would now choose to release these feelings, choose to let go of these emotions, let go of the negativity, let go of the pain, let go of the anger, let go of the disappointment. And you would also now choose to release the person, and once again reaffirming your decision to forgive this person. And in this time, it could be really helpful to actually say, I forgive this person for, da 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 da, and yeah, release them. I just wanted to say, healing is a journey. Forgiveness can take time. So take all the time that you need. But the fact that you make the decision to actually forgive that person or that situation is a major step. Just continually on that process and journey of forgiveness, reaffirm that decision. And where, negative feelings may arise again, like if it's a call to go through a deeper level of healing, go through it. If it's a thing of where like you've processed and felt it all and it's time to just move forward and stop looking back, you will be able to discern and act accordingly. And where negative things may come towards people, it gets to a point where you just have to start blessing them. If a negative thought wants to come in, you want to start cussing out everything. Like, bless them instead. Bless them instead. Do not lower yourself and come to a place of negativity because of that person and the negative feelings re-arising. Actually choose to speak blessings, and you'll find that your heart is changing, your mind is changing, you're actually becoming more free, and the negative feelings and the emotions won't necessarily rise as much, and you will make progress. And you may be thinking, how do I know when I've forgiven someone? And to be honest, it's when you are able to think about the situation or the person. And I'm not saying that you should think about the person or the situation, but if it was to come into your mind, or you were to think about it or talk about it, you wouldn't necessarily have the weighty negative feelings that you once did. If you were, for example, on the street and you bumped into a person that wronged you, seeing them wouldn't invoke feelings of rage or disappointment or even fear, but rather you would feel peace within yourself. It doesn't mean that you would be buddy buddy with a person or be like, oh my gosh, I love you. No, but you would feel peace within yourself and just be at peace and be calm. So yeah. Also, forgiveness doesn't mean that you need to allow the people that hurt you back into your life. Boundaries are important for protecting your heart so you don't get hurt again. And it doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven the person when you have gone through that process of forgiveness. It's just wisdom to protect your heart so you're not put back in the same situation where you are now struggling with feelings of offense and anger and pain and hurt and trauma again. So it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to limit contact with those people. It's okay to have no contact in the cases where it requires that. It's okay to go your separate ways if it comes to that. So yeah, sometimes we feel, especially in certain cultures, that forgiveness means that you are now buddy buddy with a person again. And no, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't need to be buddy buddy again. Boundaries are okay, but it's you ensuring that in your heart you don't feel resentment or anger towards this person anymore, and the situation, and you're free from that baggage. So yeah, don't let unforgiveness stop you from being the woman that you've been called to be and achieving all that you've desired to achieve. Don't let unforgiveness hinder you from the transformation that you are deserving of and the healing that you are truly deserving of, because you're not truly healed until you forgive. So my question is to you, who is it that you need to forgive?